Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now, we are joined by Sensual Goat, One Deck, Click OK, Refracted Curvature, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hola.
Hello. How's it going?
Fantastic.
Excellent stuff. There was some suggestion that we should go back into the Flat Earth 24/7 Discord server at some point. However, after yesterday's rather sweary and aggressive show with lots of talking over each other, I noticed that Theo Megawerty, also known as AI Overlord, had trimmed out various different sections of the show with titles that undermined the core concept we are dealing with. For example, a title like If Box Then Flat, as one of the titles of one of the trimmed out clips that it decided to publish with those undermining titles attached to them, which I didn't much appreciate. So if you're out there, AI Overlord, I don't appreciate you trying to undermine the facts that miles are linear, flat, horizontal, and measured with respect to Earth's surface when detailing any distances. That's just a flat Earth prerequisite. Elevation angles are utilised from these surfaces. That was another clip that he decided to undermine with a title that I didn't really like the sound or tone of. So, AI Overlord, you racist scum. Can you not do that in future? It's not much appreciated by me. Yeah? You telling me not to treat you like a N-word? That kind of racist shit we don't like here either.
Hey, don't ruin your message with what I've already explained to you he was doing. I thought we already talked about that.
What, you don't like me
racism.
Bringing up his racism?
Well, I explained to you the context because you don't like him saying you're racist, right? For the wrong context. Like, y'all both doing the same stupid shit, right? Excuse my language. Just stick to what you were saying, man.
No, you're right. I'll stop being so defensive with you, Eli. Fine. I won't undermine the message, which is don't undermine the Flat Earth message by suggesting that the context of an elevation profile resides within a horizontal box with the line along the top or bottom describing the kilometres or miles in distance that is factually linear horizontal as described by the box on that line of the graph. But not if box then flat. Yeah, that's just a wanker trying to undermine what is Earth measurements as a flat plane, detailed in the Google Earth measurements on the elevation profile. His racism shouldn't come into it, you're right.
Hey, Nathan, I don't know if this is too soon to mention. This has just clicked something in my head, but I'll say it anyway. You might want to do it later. But yeah, AI was obviously listening to the show yesterday with you and Maz going back and forth. And I thought it was quite entertaining in some points. And I was doing something at the same time, similar to AI. And I've done this a few times when I've been writing poems. I've not really thought about what I was going to write about. I've just wrote random things down and random words. And that's what I was doing yesterday from the show. And what I've done, I've got a list of the words I wrote out and sentences, and then I put it in an AI, made a song out of it. So I could read you the words, and then I could put the song in Master B if you want to play it now, or you can play it later.
Yeah, I'm
quite amusing.
That. Definitely, I love music.
Well, yeah, it is called If the Earth Was a Big Roast Chicken, and these are the things that I just wrote down, and then these are the things that I just wrote down. And then it'll take me a minute or two to put it in Master B, and I'll let you know when it's there. But this made me laugh because you were using some great words yesterday that I've never heard you use. Like, I'm spitting facts that the Earth's measured flat. You might not like that, but facts are facts. Vertical heights from surface level, horizontal linear measurements on the scale of maps. Axiomatically proves that. You might not like that, but facts are facts. And I'm spitting it flat and that. Perpendicular to a plane of reference, that's height, right? Parallel flight level above sea level. If the Earth was flat, we'd measure it flat. We measure it flat, so Earth is flat. I'm spitting out facts about being flat. You might not like that. You can assume a sphere by circular reasoning, but when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting out flat facts, and you might not like that. Google Maps is flat. It presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat Earth king. You called yourself a king as well. Sentence has a ring. You might not like that, but I'm the flat Earth king. If Earth was a roast chicken, factually finger-licking chicken, just got the measurement missing, I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question in question, globe-believing lesson, spitting flat Earth facts, and you might not like that. So I just wrote all them things down randomly, not thinking about anything.
That was great.
And then, and then I put it into a tune. I'm going to put the tune in Master B. It will take me a minute, and then if you play it, it's awesome. And
I'll
the picture that I called it the if the Earth was a giant roast chicken, and there's a picture of a chicken with a crown on, like a king. I'll do it now.
Just let's give a bit of context for the audience, right? So you don't have to listen to all 3 hours of yesterday's live show. The opponent, Mez, his name was, called me King Nathan. And I said, yes, you may call me King Nathan from now on, or I'll boot you out for being sarcastic. And again, somebody noted that in one of the comments in a quote. Yes, you may call me King Nathan, or I'll kick you out for sarcasm, was one of them. The other one was Earth is a roast chicken, right? So the opponent in this instance, again, Mez, is saying, well, if Earth is a sphere, and I stop him and go, no, that's begging the question. You're assuming your outcome if you start with the premise you're trying to prove. That's if Earth's a sphere. And I take it down to absurdity to make the point much more clear to the audience, which is making the exact same assertion. Well, if Earth is a roast chicken, then I've already started with the concept that Earth is a roast chicken. Therefore, there's no point in proving Earth's a roast chicken. I've already started with the premise that it is when I say if Earth is a roast chicken. We're already starting with the premise we're trying to prove, because I'm trying to prove Earth's a roast chicken, right? Well, roast chicken by comparison is globe in a begging the question fallacy. Circular reasoning. That's assuming the premise you're trying to prove. One of the most basic of fallacies that you can commit.
It's in there now anyway.
Superb. Let's go and dig it out. Shout out to Pablo, who says, all hail King Nathan. Thank you for the super chat.
Your planar measurements, are you begging the question of a plane?
No, just stating a fact. That was something else that came up. The opponent was like, you're just begging the question of flatness. I'm like, no, I'm telling you how the measurements are measured and presented on Google Earth. That's not me begging the question of anything. It's me showing measurement. And again, it's not up for debate either. It's not like I'm asking for an opinion on whether or not this is correct. Earth is measured flat. That's not up for debate. It's not up for discussion. That's how it's measured.
The song's in there now, Nathan.
You took them through that about 25 different times, so it's well covered, and I thought it was great.
Well, you can't please all the people all the time is the reaction from me in this regard, right? What do I mean by that? Some people aren't pleased when you get some guy that's going to constantly interrupt you, irritate me to the point where I'll start swearing at him. Now, I'm going to see if I can get a grip on that and control my temper, which is all it really is. My irritation with somebody incessantly talking through me while I'm trying to make the conclusion. And they always do it at the same point. At the point that you've won and you're trying to conclude the point that you've won so an audience can understand it concisely. That's where they start interrupting. Very irritating. Well, for a lot of my audience, Kelrick specifically, Paula Bible U, another one, there's been several, I'm not going to name and shame all of them, but they've said, look, this is unlistenable. And they're right. In other words, they're going to tune out when that starts happening. Now, I want to please all the people all the time, so I feel very guilty when somebody who's a very avid supporter of the show tells me that. That makes my heart sink in the most sincere of ways, and I want to address it. Now, there might not be anything I can do about it in terms of stopping the opponent from making the show unlistenable, but I can do something about my own demeanour and my own attitude towards those people. And taking a breath, calming down a little bit, and cutting the tail off at the right moment. So, as I listened back to yesterday's show, I did listen to all of it, which took a long time over the course of this morning while I was doing a load of other things. Admittedly on 1.8 speed, so I could rattle my way through it. There was a point where I shut him up and put him on mute. I should have left it that way. Instead, Neil, I'm not blaming you, but you were like, yeah, we told you, Mez, you need to be respectful and not just talk straight through him, and then you'll get to be listened to. By that time, he'd already been listened to for an hour. So there was no need to take him back off mute and ask him if he was going to behave himself and then carry on the process for another 2 hours. That wasn't necessary. So there was a point that I'd drawn a line in the sand, and then I second-guessed myself. Don't know why. Even listening back, I'm like, why did I take him back off mute? There was no need. Could have just rounded out the show. It was perfect timing as well. It was about the hour mark. So you're like, oh, well, that's my bad judgment. So, yeah.
No, what I said was because we had a conversation the day before, and I went to listen to the video that somebody told you to listen to. So I didn't even know he came in. So when I came in and heard him doing that, I was like, are you kidding me? After the conversation we had yesterday, because he was saying I can't have a conversation with Nathan, he'll just put me on mute. I said, no, just freaking let him talk. When he finishes, then you speak. So I come in, I hear him rumpusing you. That's why I said what I said.
Nathan?
Yes, I've got it queued up now.
So that song you must be, but I don't know if you can play it so everyone can hear it.
I
don't know
joined
if you can do
sooner.
that.
If that's the same one you sent me previously, I'm pretty sure I joined up just so I could listen to what you sent me previously. If Earth was a big roast chicken.
I'm spitting facts that Earth's measured flat. You might not like that, but facts are facts. Vertical heights from surface level, horizontal linear measurements on the scale of maps axiomatically proves that, ooh, you might not like that, but facts are facts. And I'm spitting it flat in that perpendicular to a plane of reference that's height right parallel, flight level above sea level. If the earth was flat, we would measure it flat. We measure it flat, so earth is flat. And I'm spitting facts about that. You might not like that. You can't assume earth a sphere by circular reasoning, but when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme. If the earth was flat, we would measure it flat. We measure it flat, so earth is flat. And I'm spitting facts about that. You might not like that. You can't assume earth a sphere by circular reasoning, but when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. And I'm spitting it flat and that. If the earth was flat, we will measure it flat. We measure it flat, so earth is flat.
That was If the Earth Was a Big Roast Chicken by One Deck. That was absolutely brilliant. When he starts talking about Earth being a roast chicken, I started laughing. I'm glad I was on mute. It was brilliant.
It doesn't come through as good on.
Absolutely.
Doesn't come through as good in here. You got to listen to it on YouTube. It sounds so much better.
Yeah, it would have come through terribly on the Hangout because of the noise cancelling that I have to stop the echo and things. So yeah, it would have sounded terrible in the Hangout. I'm sorry. Same maybe goes for Discord. It might have sounded okay. I don't know. Either way, happy days. Check it out on the YouTube channel if you want to actually hear it properly. That was superb. I really enjoyed that. Nice one. A few people in the chat say the same thing. Fisherman in the Box says, wow, nice one, One Deck. Lots of people saying One Deck is ace. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. That was brilliant. I really, really enjoyed that. Also, 10th Man. 10th Man put out a video with a song on recently, which I asked his permission to put out there, and he said, yeah, you can put it out there on the show. And by on the show, I just published a video, which is the show is my channel, so yeah, that's how I take it. That's my justification, if you asked. Anyway, people get creative when there's a bit of turmoil, when there's a bit of what would you call the current circumstances? My wife said it last night. I can't remember the word she used. She's like, you've had an
Controversy.
Controversy, that's the word. She says you have a controversial week, but it's been, emotional and eventful, and sometimes you'll have those weeks on YouTube, but those sorts of weeks tend to build you up, not knock you down. Because obviously I'm feeling quite bitter and a bit down about the whole thing, and a bit, saddened of myself. But my wife's there, she's a good wife, telling me, no, these things are here to build you up, not knock you down. The week on the channel, that is, the week of live streams. And she's right. If you go back and listen to this previous week's live streams, they've all been extremely eventful. The first couple of shows, people were telling me how fantastic they were, and that was before I'd come out and told people that I'd been thieved from by my former friends, who have then subsequently tried to extort me and then lied through their back teeth continuously. Well, that was on Wednesday, but prior to that, I was still spitting feathers, just not at the realisation of why, from the public's perspective. But that has apparently resulted in 2 really good shows on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday's show was covering the actual book situation. Thursday was an elongated debate, if you want to call it that, more me telling a globe believer that he needs flat Earth measurements for his Google Earth elevation profiles that would show curve if there was any, but there isn't. It's measured flat, like all miles in a linear horizontal fashion. Now we've got Friday's show with a song, an original song. I mean, you don't get much better than this as a week of flat Earth debate shows. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're 100% correct. And that caught my attention too when he said, I'm spitting facts. I was like, whoa, I never heard Nathan say that before.
It's literal. So since I had a tooth removed, I'll use a terminology that one of the microphone guys I watch uses. He's like, my one singer's quite moist. He says I wouldn't give him my biodynamic ribbon mic. He's very moist, that particular singer. meaning there's a lot of saliva flying out of his mouth as he's singing. Now, if you're well lubricated in that manner, and I typically am, I've got a couple of drinks next to me. Occasionally, you can't see it on camera, thank the Lord, but yeah, the little bits of saliva will fly out. So when I say it, it's because that's what I mean. I'm literally spitting these facts at the person because I'm not too concerned about my appearance and demeanour. Yeah, I remember there was a scene in Friends where Joey's talking to the guy who's the cop in Leon. What's his name? Bloody hell. I can't remember his name, the actor's name, but he's performing alongside another actor. Paula, what's the name of that actor in Friends that Joey's acting alongside, and he's very moist and says you need to enunciate, and it's the guy from Leon, the cop from Leon. No, he's like a bit part character actor on Friends that comes in for one episode to act alongside Joey, acting in acting. And he's like, they're dressed in army uniforms.
The one that spit.
The spitting one, yeah. What's his name?
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, bloody hell. My wife can't remember.
Neil's usually good at this. Come on, Neil.
Who's that actor in Friends?
I'm drawing a blank.
It's the guy who's the cop in Leon, otherwise known as the assassin, I think, in the States. You know Leon? Do you remember Leon? Oh, forget it. Somebody from the chat's hopefully going to tell me. Not Gene Reno. Bloody hellfire.
Is it Norman Stansfield?
No. He's also in Fifth Element as the guy that sells the guns in Fifth Element. That actor. The guy. Go and
Google it, for God's sake.
I'll reenact the famous scene from Leon that he does. He tells the rest of the cops, "Bring me everyone." And the cop replies, everyone? And he goes, everyone! Him. Anyway, he's talking to Ross in Friends, and he's like, you need to enunciate. And, he said, and Joey replies, but bits of spit will come out. He goes, but if you've not got bits of spit coming out, you're not doing it right. You need to properly enunciate.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, finally. Yes, Gary Oldman talking to Joey in Friends, explaining that when you're enunciating, it's likely little bits of spit will come out. So when I'm talking in that term to that guy, when I say I'm spitting facts at you, I mean it literally.
That's
So
funny.
you were really
That's funny.
spitting.
Yeah.
That's funny because when I heard it, I thought, wow, Nathan's getting down with these words, man. He's like, I'm spitting out facts, bro. You know, I'm thinking he's getting down with spitting.
I think rappers
I don't know if
use
you'd be interested to continue on another musical journey. I may have missed the boat a little bit, but I stuck one in the main text chat last night for There's the Guns MC2. I think that one's a pretty good one. And there's another one called Flatline, but they're just in main text chat. I'm not privileged to have access to Master B.
I'm sure we can
Yeah,
sort that out for you.
that is
Len.
a rapper's phrase.
I'm sure someone will get you into it. We need to get. It's not Master B's in Skype. Do you have Skype, Len? Or whatever
It's
Skype
Teams.
is called now.
I've never used it before, no, but I could easily download it. But
Get
not right
Teams.
now.
We'll find your name and we'll add you to Master B, Len. But yeah,
Sound.
someone can dig that out. Hopefully, I think those are old songs, though, right? Where Are the Guns and Flatline. I think I've heard both of those previously. There are older versions, right? Did you make those?
Yeah. I don't know if we really published them. I've done so many different versions of both of them, but the There's the Guns one is pretty bloody good, in my opinion.
Can someone dig that out and actually stick it in Master B so I can get
Where
access?
is it?
It's in the main text chat in Discord.
Give me a minute.
Thank you, Neil. Oh, moreover, thank you, Len. We'll get to that shortly. I mean, I don't mind this being a bit of a musical show. Why not? We can have a couple more
But
tracks.
also, Nathan, there is a 3-minute video on why we don't feel Earth turning Master B. If you fancy that.
I've got that. I've already got it queued up in case we need to fall back on that. Thank you very much. I did see that you published it. And then I saw Neil's reaction to it afterwards, which is, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense, or something like that, sarcastic. So I thought, yeah, given that Neil's watched it and got a reaction out of him, I thought that would be appropriate to do.
Well, it's only 2.5 minutes, so it won't take up too much of your time.
Oh, yeah, so it is. Okay, do you want to do that now? Is that what you're suggesting?
I don't mind.
While,
Up to you.
while
How
I'm
quickly
digging
can we
that
get
other
song?
stuff out, you could do it.
Okay, let's do that now
Just-
then.
Also, just a quick second. So just before that goes, so not going to get back into the AI thing, but that triggered my memory. He was obviously listening to things and pointing things out in a negative way, where you can look now. I just wrote things down and look how positive it is. You know what you were saying. It all makes sense.
What the best bit of that song was towards the end and halfway through in the little bridge sections where if Earth is flat, it'll be measured flat. Earth is measured flat because it's measured flat, or something like that. I don't know if you can dig out those specific words because you're basically pointing out the modus ponens logical consistency, which is if A then B,
Yes.
A therefore B. If Earth is flat, we will measure it flat. Earth is flat because we measure it flat.
Yep. And that's what you was explaining to him at the time. That exactly. So I wrote that down. I thought we'll throw that in.
We know who else
Just
said
throwing
it.
everything you were saying down.
You know who else said it? He did. I trimmed that out too. Do you want to hear that?
We should make a song of him doing it.
Just listen to this.
Well, because we use miles are linear distances are flat, therefore the Earth is flat.
There it is.
He's spitting facts out there, isn't he?
He certainly is. I told him as well in the clip. All right, I'll trim that out and ascribe it to you. I have. I just don't think I've published it yet. So yeah, very good. Okay, right. Let's. Where's my? Here it is. There we go.
Earth is spinning at 1,000 kilometers per hour.
No, it's not.
But why aren't we feeling it?
Well, why should? If it was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, logical consistency would say that we'd feel it. We don't, therefore we aren't.
is the answer most people give for this question, but that's not completely accurate.
No, there's a claim that you've got Coriolis effect. That's two separate reference frames that induce a not actual drift called Coriolis force. That's what the claim is.
It's the same as when
Why is it that we get these videos where they apologise for how globe-shaped or globe effects aren't in effect? Why don't we feel something? Why the hell are you explaining why we don't feel something? I don't really understand that logic.
you are inside
It makes me laugh as well with this example. They always bring this example of sitting in a plane up, don't they, for some strange reason.
So we're in a contained system. In this example, if you're going straight to an aeroplane with you in it, not feeling the wind rushing by you, does that mean that Earth's a contained system? I mean, it absolutely must be, because gas would fill space if it was a sky vacuum. But they have to immediately go to an example that has Earth, by comparison, as a contained system, a la the aeroplane.
a plane going 800 kilometers per hour, but can't really feel that speed.
Yeah, you do. You never been on an aeroplane, Dumbo? Yes, you can absolutely feel that you're moving along in a plane.
Dropping a pen aboard an airplane will result in it falling vertically relative to you. The reason behind that is that you, the plane, and the pen are all moving together at the same constant speed.
Really? So if that was the case and the Earth was not demonstrating this effect because everything's moving together, then there's not two reference frames. I mean, you could say, as a perfectly good quote, "You and your reference frames are ruined." That's a quote from Simon Dan. I'll just make it more verbatim. You and your reference frames have been ruined. That's a Simon Dan quote. If they're moving together as one, then you can't have two frames of reference to allege Earth has Coriolis effect. That's a separate non-inertial turning reference frame, turning underneath gyros, pendulums. You if you jump up and down, the pen if you dropped it. You'd see a not actual deflection caused by the second alleged to be non-inertial turning reference frame, if Earth has Coriolis effect. So this guy's flying in the face, no pun intended, of the effect that Earth is alleged to have. Two reference frames with Earth turning underneath. I mean, the problem with that is we'd notice if the plane was the equivalence and the pen drifted because the aeroplane moved underneath, as is alleged to be the case when demonstrating that Earth turns. We don't see this effect, so they have to explain why we don't see any effects. Well, there's supposed to be a Coriolis effect, you Dumbo. Good.
Hang on, Nathan. This you can see this happening at American football games, apparently.
Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Exactly. Tyson says Earth turns underneath the football, causing a deflection. Well, this guy is saying, no, it's all one system. Okay, so you're flying in the face of the alleged Coriolis deflection then.
So unless the plane suddenly brakes, no one is feeling this speed. But this isn't a completely accurate answer because Earth is not going in a straight path. It's also revolving around its own axis and around the sun.
I hate it when planes suddenly brake, do you?
Right.
The plane makes a sharp turn, rest assured everyone will feel it. But we aren't feeling it in the case of the Earth because it's revolving non-stop for 24 hours a day. So the turn...
What difference does that make? Okay, so because it's moving for a 24-hour period constantly. So if you're on a roundabout turning beneath somebody toss a ball over the top, you won't see it drift because it's turning constantly. There's alleged to be a Coriolis deflection, you dumbass. Who is this idiot? Give him 1 million subs.
He sounds Indian. Arthur, do you know him?
India's a very big place, you realise that? It's not like Ireland.
Yeah, but we need someone to play him.
Nathan, it's a gradual movement. What's wrong with you? Of course you're not going to feel it. It's moving ever so gently. Why would you expect to feel movement?
Because it's alleged to have a Coriolis deflection that we would see?
You're not accounting for how big Earth is.
Doesn't matter how big it is. It's alleged to be two reference frames, one turning under the other, to affect a pendulum. Like, pendulum swings back and forth. This is the alleged effect of Earth turning underneath. Pendulums have one property. They swing back and forth. why would it knock a domino over and then another domino over and then another? Well, because it's alleged that Earth turns underneath the pendulum. So the pendulum still swings back and forth, but it's alleged that Earth turns underneath the pendulum. Ergo, Earth is alleged to turn underneath aeroplanes, hot air balloons, gyroscopes, you if you jump up and down. It's called Coriolis effect. What's Coriolis effect? Imagine you on a roundabout. So you're sat on a non-inertial turning reference frame, aka, in this example, a roundabout. You sit on the roundabout, and as you look up, a ball that's tossed over the top between two people who are not on the roundabout looks like it takes a curved path as it goes in a straight, actual path between the two people as you turn underneath. Likewise, in the alleged proof of Earth turning called Foucault's pendulum, the gyro, like my ball, swings back and forth. Ball, not balls. And as it swings back and forth, it turns... the Earth is alleged to turn underneath the pendulum, therefore knocking the dominoes over because Earth is claimed to turn underneath. Example from Neil deGrasse Tyson. Football goes through the goalposts only because Earth is alleged to turn underneath the ball. But then it'd be turning underneath the blimp that films the game. And you'd only have to hover in a hot air balloon and the next frigging continent would come to you. That doesn't happen. It would also mean flight times would be shortened. We'd notice. We don't because Earth is not turning underneath anything. What's the response from idiot globe believers? I'll justify why we don't notice any effect. That's all this is. A guy explaining why we don't notice. Learn your own stupid rhetoric. You're supposed to have Coriolis deflection. And because we don't, you're going to apologise and give this crap as your explanation why we don't see any effects. No, we just don't see any effects.
Yeah, but...
Go ahead.
Sorry, Nathan. Everything's moving with the atmosphere, though, Nathan.
Then no Coriolis. Okay, you and your reference frames have been ruined.
Gradual, it's impossible to perceive, but there is...
Impossible to perceive, so no Coriolis deflection, not knocking over dominoes, not turning underneath a football to cause the field goal. No effect to observe then. Idiot, you're as dumb as Simon Dan.
There is a way to measure this revolving. Scientists experimented a lot with releasing objects from tall towers and watching them fall, and the result is that
I couldn't understand a single word he just said. Shout out to Himsake, who says, Happy Flat Earth Friday, Nathan. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much indeed.
those objects slightly deviated by a few centimeters towards the east.
But that would be an effect we'd notice then. Oh, talk about bloody double-speak contradictions. So we won't notice any effects because we're in a single reference frame. Okay, so no effect. But we do notice an effect like a ball deviating. No, the actual deflection of a ball is not the same as a not actual deflection claimed in Coriolis effect. Back to my example with a ball. Ball moves in a straight path between two people just sat on the ground, throwing the ball over the top of a roundabout. You, sat on the roundabout, are turning underneath a ball with no deflection. It moves in a straight line. The ball does not deflect. It appears to deflect from your vantage point on the roundabout. That's a not actual deflection induced by you turning underneath the ball. What do you get from ball-believing clowns? Oh, well, we don't notice any effect and simultaneously a ball will actually deflect. Number one, that's a contradiction in terms. Number two, Coriolis isn't an actual deflection of anything. It's an apparent deviation. Pendulums just swing back and forth. That's all they do. It's the inherent property of a pendulum. So why is it knocking over the dominoes? Because it's alleged in that parlour trick to be the Earth turning underneath. Net consequence, Earth turns underneath. Footballs, gyros, pendulums, you if you jump up and down, hot air balloons, blimps, planes, helicopters, we'd friggin' notice. It would shorten flight times. When I point out that we'd notice if we had an apparent deflection induced because Earth turns underneath, things that are not attached to the claimed to be non-inertial turning reference frame of Earth's spinning surface, which it isn't, we'd notice. We don't, because no effect is in effect, so they start apologising and showing you what aeroplanes do as a single reference frame. Or you get Dan saying, you and your reference frames have been ruined. End quote, Simon Dan. Apologetics for things that aren't happening.
East from the expected place they were supposed to fall at, because east is the direction Earth rotates toward.
Sorry, east? Mate, Dumbo, if you're going to talk about Earth with an axis running through it, rotating in a direction, learn what you're describing as a direction. It's flat. It's east. Is that east? East is a flat Earth only direction. Go and buy yourself a compass. If you're going to describe Earth as a sphere, you're not going to use north, south, east or west. Those are planar, two-dimensional directionalities. You don't get to use them, ball clown, as you defy the very principle that you're supposed to adhere to. You, as a numpty ball believer, are supposed to have Earth turning underneath as a non-inertial turning reference frame to induce a not actual deflection in gyros and pendulums and hot air balloons and footballs and aeroplanes. And if Earth's turning underneath aeroplanes, flight times get shortened when travelling west. They don't. We would notice if Earth was turning. It isn't.
Towards, but
It's
there is
funny
a
this,
better
Nathan.
method.
Sorry,
In
Nathan.
18
It is.
Good.
I mean, the more you look in, this simple fact that we've talked about this for forever. But if you just meditate on it, concentrate on it a little bit, this is what they're saying. There is an effect, and there isn't an effect, and it's absolutely ludicrous what they come out with. All the heliocentric model is ludicrous. We know that. But what they're saying here, what he's saying, is just if nobody can see the contradiction and that we don't see this happening, then there's something wrong with you, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and that's the game, isn't it? For the audience, you, the guy or girl who's listening to or watching Globe Information, wrap it up in the most confusing, nonsensical, contradictory doublespeak that you possibly can and make it cognitively expensive to process. Now, me, having studied this, I can generally summarise it reasonably concisely, but even my concise summary still involves the doublespeak contradictions being unpacked, therefore will be complex to some people. Now, fortunately, on camera and describing a roundabout with you sat on it, going in a circle underneath a ball, most people can understand that with a little visual representation of what's actually occurring to induce the real effect of Coriolis. But if we have the real effect of Coriolis applicable to Earth, then Earth is a turning, flat, non-inertial turning reference frame, like my roundabout example, with north, south, east and west two-dimensionally described on said flat, non-inertial turning reference frame. But we'd notice. We'd see things drifting. We don't, because it doesn't happen.
In 1951, a person by the name of Leon Foucault came up with a very creative way to measure the spinning of the Earth. He used the pendulum suspended from a high ceiling with sand spread on the ground below. When you give this pendulum a...
What have we here? Would this be the flat Earth prerequisite surface level described as a flat planar disk? Yeah, you notice how even in the example, I'd already preemptively said this. I haven't watched this video, it's just a fact. If you're going to describe a non-inertial turning reference frame with an axis running through it for rotation, it will be flat. And what do you know? When we get our Coriolis visual depiction, we've got a flat disk. Because the measurement of Coriolis requires a planar rotating non-inertial frame of reference in the depiction. Earth is always measured flat, even in the bullshit examples that claim we've got a turning reference frame underneath as Earth's surface. It's still going to be a flat surface that's described mathematically, and here it is, right on cue. Earth's measured flat in all examples, even the bullshit ones that don't actually happen.
The push, it swings back and forth, drawing a line in the sand. But if we leave the pendulum swinging for some time, we will find the line in the sand has rotated. But
Or to put it another way, Earth is alleged to be turning underneath then. So if Earth's turning underneath this pendulum, then Earth is turning underneath an aeroplane. And a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles would only take an hour and a half rather than the 4.5 to 5 hours it actually takes. Because Earth would be turning underneath it, exactly as this Dumbo, who's just literally in the last 2 minutes of videography, explained that he wouldn't see any effect. Is this the same as a pen being dropped and not deflecting? You dumbass. You're contradicting yourself in your own nonsensical examples. Go ahead.
It's funny, isn't it? How, you know, it'd be great if he said this pendulum example is moving, and obviously and then he goes on to say that's why flight times are different. You know, and give the example of that flight time. You'd be able to back it up with that as well, wouldn't you? That's what you would be doing.
Instead, he's got a contradiction in terms. We won't notice if I drop a pen on a plane, it doesn't deflect. Meanwhile, Earth's turning underneath pendulums, showing deflection. Okay, so that's a contradiction in terms. But if the second one, which is Foucault's example that is alleged to prove Earth, is turning underneath the pendulum, then Earth's turning underneath as a non-inertial turning reference frame, and it'll turn underneath footballs, like in Neil deGrasse Tyson's example, where the ball goes through the goalposts because Earth turned underneath. Well, then Earth's turning underneath the blimp, and the next continent along would just come to it. And would have shortened flight times. We don't experience any of that nonsense. So what do we get? We get garbage examples with pendulums that are suspended from roofs. And we get alleged deviation in something that fundamentally requires remaining rigid in space, like gyroscopes. And we get alleged deflection of footballs that are only in the air for a second, ignoring that there's a blimp filming the game that hasn't got Earth turning underneath it while it remains in the air for a significant amount of time compared to the bleeding football. Yeah, Earth isn't turning underneath anything. We'd notice.
wait, how can the line move if both the sand and the pendulum are on planet Earth? Well, it turns out the pendulum isn't actually changing direction at all.
Yeah, he's got directions two-dimensionally with these 4 arrows. Yes, because directions are flat. North, south, east and west are flat. Like all measurements of Earth, and directionality is no exception, Earth's measured flat. That's why these arrows are like this. Two-dimensional and flat.
The pendulum's wire is attached to a pivot with a very well lubricated mechanism where friction is nearly zero, which allows the pendulum to swing in the exact same plane relative to the universe.
So therefore, Earth is alleged to turn underneath as a non-inertial turning reference frame. Yeah, we'd notice. It would shorten flight times. Your blimp would have Earth turning underneath it. You wouldn't need to pay any more for the expensive flights. You just go up in a hot air balloon and wait for the next continent along to come to you as Earth turns underneath, as is alleged in this example. Unless your double-speak contradiction of dropping a pen and it not deflecting is also holding true, violating the law of non-contradiction. What a clown.
What's actually happening is that the Earth and the sand below are rotating beneath the pendulum.
Boom. So when I say Earth is alleged to turn underneath, can you hear that? You and your reference frames are ruined, Nathan. Dumbo Dan doesn't understand his own claim. Yeah, Simon Dan, are you paying attention? Can you see this little diagram where it's alleged that Earth's turning underneath as a second reference frame? That's two reference frame, Dan. What's that? My reference frames are ruined, are they, you complete idiot who doesn't understand your own effects that you're supposed to have? That we'd notice when they shorten flight times? Oh, what's that? You'd rather go to the plane example in a violation of the law of non-contradiction where pens don't deflect. So no deflection and deflection simultaneously. It's a violation of the law of non-contradiction.
The thing is, Nathan, as well, I mean, I know we're going through this video and we're sort of calling the guy. But he's just, I mean, you know, in all honesty, he's just repeating what everybody's taught at school and in college, that this is how you, but nobody cottons on to anything else, do they? They don't think about, well, if that's happening, why don't I notice that when I'm looking at an aeroplane in the sky? Why doesn't it appear to be drifting off? Everyone just takes this as read, and this is true, with no real thought going into challenging it, really. But I suppose that's how we've all been brought up, haven't we?
Yes.
You know.
In this case, Tyler is the name of the videographer. He's actually quite a small YouTuber, so give him some love. He probably doesn't deserve the disdain he's getting. As you say, he's just been taught it at school. He thinks he's being an intellectual by contradicting himself. He's oh so smart for describing non-deflection and then deflection. But let him know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. I've just put a link to his video in the live stream chat, so you can pop along to his video, and in the politest sense, let him know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. The idea being that if he was to respond and do a response video to me, he'd do the same for me and put a link to Nathan Oakley 1980's video, this video, in his video when he made a response. Not that he's really going to get very far, because he's using both sides of his mouth to explain non-deflection and deflection simultaneously.
Is that a globe right there, or is that a flat plane?
It's a flat plane.
That little pendulum's hanging over.
Flat plane.
Okay.
Its original direction of swing. Imagine drawing a straight line while someone slowly rotates the paper beneath your pen. From your perspective,
No, that would not be Coriolis. You've got two separate reference frames, and the actual deflection that you see on the page would be the actual deflection that the pen's taking as you move the page with respect to the pen on the page. The deflection in Coriolis effect is a not actual deflection. Like in my example with the ball. Ball goes straight in a straight line. That's its actual path. You underneath it, observing it, seem to drift. That's Coriolis deflection. Learn your own rhetoric so I can point out how if you claim Earth turns underneath a pendulum, then Earth turns underneath footballs, like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, and blimps and helicopters and aeroplanes and hot air balloons, and we'd notice. It's not happening. Earth's not turning underneath anything. It's not a separate reference frame. What's that? You and your reference frames are ruined? They're not mine. But by saying they're ruined, it means you've got no evidence of Earth turn.
you're drawing straight, but the line on the paper appears curved. The pendulum uses the law of inertia to establish
Wait, Dumbo?
straight, but the line on the paper appears curved.
It doesn't appear curved, you complete idiot. That doesn't appear to be curved. That is curved. You stupid boy. Apparent means not actual. Ergo, ball moves straight. That's its actual path. It's actually moving straight. As you turn underneath, it appears. That's not actual drift. Not actual deflection. Coriolis force is a pseudo force, meaning it appears to curve but doesn't actually curve. Example by a Dumbo? Well, look, this appears to be... No, it is an actual curved line. You stupid boy.
The pendulum uses the law of inertia to establish a non-rotating reference frame in space, with everything around.
No. The non-inertial reference frame is not in space. My God, these people are so stupid they don't know their own rhetoric. The non-inertial frame of reference is the claim to be turning Earth as a flat plane. That's the non-inertial turning reference frame. Space would be the inertial frame of reference the ball, in my example, travels through. That's the inertial frame of reference. The non-inertial frame of reference is the turning frame of reference, flat in the description. You got it the wrong way round, you complete bonehead.
It, including us, rotates with the Earth. This apparent rotation of the pendulum's plane relative to the ground is called precession, and it provides direct, visible proof that Earth is spinning. Right
well, you'd
now,
think we'd see the
Earth
pen
is spinning
drifting.
At 1,000.
Oops. Is that it?
And it provides direct, visible proof that Earth is spinning.
So if we've got Coriolis deflection, if things deflect, precess, according to this guy. No, it's called deflection or Coriolis force. That's the actual title of it. Precession's something completely different. Meanwhile, if we've got deflection, from the non-inertial turning reference frame, then Earth is claimed to be turning underneath. Balls, aeroplanes, pendulums, gyroscopes, you if you jump up and down. We'd notice it would shorten flight times if Earth was turning underneath. It isn't. That's the end of the video. Done. Did you say we got videos?
Yeah, I hung up a tennis ball from my ceiling, and it just stays still. It doesn't move. What's up with that?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it might have been One Deck or someone similar that said if we had Coriolis deflection. No, it was Level Earth Observer. And it's because he was a crane operator in his professional life before coming to Flat Earth and talking about this subject. The pendulum, which is what a crane would be if it's just left dangling, would start swinging if Earth was turning underneath. And it doesn't. So his observations of the lack thereof when it comes to Coriolis effect was what brought him to this subject as a former high crane operator. That's Level Earth Observer. So shout out to you, my friend. Good example.
Same thing with a heavy bag, Nathan. In all the boxing gyms, you got heavy bags hanging.
Yeah, anything that's dangling down should start moving if we've got Earth turning underneath it.
You know what? Thank you, Nathan, for reminding me of this channel. I haven't watched his content in about a year, and I've just looked. He's still pumping out some great videos by the look of it. So I'm going to give his content a watch this afternoon. Thanks for reminding me.
That's all right. I'll give him a proper plug. He's in the exact same boat as me. So we got fellow flat earthers on the channel. Now, my channel, this show, talking about a fellow flatty who puts out constant content. And it's like he's disappeared off our radar. You'd think algorithmically, YouTube would at the very least want to supply flat earth material to flat earthers who obviously watch flat earth material. No, even my own audience is obscured from my video's view. And in the same instance, we've got Level Earth Observer, not prevalent in the mind's eye of fellow flat earthers because his material is not reaching us. Yeah, we are so heavily censored.
And his videos aren't in my, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm subscribed to him personally, and his videos don't show in my feed, and I haven't done for about a year. I completely forgot about him.
Yeah. And then they can just remove him from your list eventually. But that's what they do to me. My subscribers don't know when my videos go out. They don't get to see them. And occasionally someone will say, I forgot you existed, and here you are making a microphone video. And I'm like, oh, so a microphone video that I've made to sell microphones on eBay makes it to my audience, but not my daily live content. No, of course not. Anyway.
I think it's about time we do something about that. The same way they put a restraint on us. Didn't a lady die? So why can't we push to get that censorship removed? I don't get it.
Just change your name, Nathan.
To what?
You shouldn't have to.
Nathan Flatley?
King Oakley.
King Oakley?
Nah, the best name would be Ethan Woodley.
A quantum entanglement?
No, but I'm serious. Why can't we make us think about it? Like, you've been suppressing this topic for how many years now? Got a new guy in office now. Things might change.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they will. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
No. Listen, let me tell you what happened, Nathan. There was a big bust yesterday. They got the 4 families. The only one missing was the Colombo family and a bunch of athletes. They got them for freaking fixing games, number one. Gambling, which they're not supposed to do when you're a professional athlete. That's the first rule. You cannot gamble. You can't even be in a casino. So they're bringing this whole thing down. So don't be surprised if we push to, hey, can you remove this censorship so we can make a living here? I mean, we could try.
Okay. Shout out to Ashley, who says, like and share this Level Linear show, please. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat.
What I'm saying is this has been going on for years and nobody ever said anything about the gambling in sports. Now it's coming to the forefront. It's right in the light. Arrests were made. And it's not thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. It's tens of millions of dollars.
Before you round out, Nathan, did you get that song from Master B?
I couldn't get it. It's only giving me the Discord server.
Maybe we'll work it out in the after show. Put it out as a separate video.
If somebody else wants to try to get the songs that I was trying to get, it's just giving me the Discord server. It's not giving me the songs.
Yeah, I looked and I couldn't see them. I was just looking now. Can someone dig out the link for Level Earth Observer? Has anybody put that into the live stream chat? As we're actually plugging him, it'd be nice if we could actually send a link to... Oh, no, it is there. So if you scroll up in the live stream chat, Divergent Droid has put a link to Level Earth Observer's channel. And I've got to be honest, more so than the guy that we were just covering, whatever his name was, Taylor, I think it was, something like that. I know I've directed the audience already to go and tell Tyler that Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. But I'd actually much prefer it if you went to a fellow flatty, and Level Earth Observer's a fellow flatty. He will be feeling the flat earth pinch of algorithmic censorship. Like's been described, that's why we're talking about him. So, I mean, we're going to be live for a little bit while, maybe 2 or 3 minutes more. While we're live, please, in all sincerity, go to Level Earth Observer and say, forgot about you, but for the fact that Nathan had told us to come and give you some love. And just give him some love. Leave him a comment on whatever his most recent video is. And just tell him, Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, so that this is our way of overcoming censorship. Or something like that. Just indicate the reason why I'm sending you without we having covered his video. Because we haven't covered his video today. We've covered Tyler. But we've discussed Level Earth Observer because of the pendulum and him being a former crane operator. So I want people to go to other hard-working flatties like myself and share the love. YouTube aren't doing it for me. They certainly aren't doing it for Level Earth Observer. I'm subscribed to him. I haven't seen him in my feed for months and months. So, yeah, exactly. We should go and share the love. Please let Level Earth Observer know.
I'm going to do that now. Maybe I don't know what his content is, or is it worth having a little look at one of his videos later? Just a quick flick through, maybe. I don't know.
Well, Liam put that song in Master B if you want to grab it.
Is it in? It's there to play now?
Yes.
It better not be better than the world is a big roast chicken. I'll tell you that now, else I'll be spitting feathers, mate.
Competition is healthy.
Right, let's have a little looky. Which one do you want? Flatline or There's the Guns? Which one do you want?
Ask Geordie, he made him. Oh, no, he's from Mackham. He's a Sunderland, isn't he? What's his name?
Yeah. He would be very offended if you said he's a Scouser. Or not a Scouser. What do you call them when they're from Newcastle?
Geordie.
Geordie, yeah, you said it already.
Geordie or Mackham?
Mackham, that was the one.
Mackham's are from Sunderland. Yeah, I only just stuck my headphones back and I was just talking to a client there and I just caught you at the right moment. Go for Where's the Guns? I think that's a better tune.
There's the Guns, yeah? Okay. Let's do that now.
There's the Guns, MC Tune. There's the Guns, MC Tune. There's the Guns, MC Tune. There's the Guns, you stupid ginger globe head goon. Screaming, where's the guns? Nathan, he was screaming, where's the guns? Nathan, deflecting from the measurements for the 100th time. How many final experiments are there now? Not that you know what one is. There's the guns, MC Tune. You stupid ginger globe head goon. Deflecting from the measurements. Where the hell is all the evidence to prove your boy? So on his level curve, when there's level curve. So when there's level curve, just when there's level curve, you're just a ball. When there's level curve, when there's level curve. So when there's level curve, just when there's level curve, you're just a ball. Nathan's in your head, he laughs at you. Nathan's in your head, he laughs at. Nathan's in your head, he laughs at you. You're the punchline in disguise. There's the guns, MC tune. You are just a stupid ginger globe head goon, deflecting from the measurements. He was deflecting from the measurements for the 100th time. There's the guns, MC tune. You are just a stupid ginger globe head goon, deflecting from the measurements. He was deflecting from the measurements for the 100th time. Screaming, where's the guns, Nathan? He was screaming, where's the guns, Nathan? Deflecting from the measurements for the 100th time. Screaming, where's the guns, Nathan? He was screaming, where's the guns, Nathan? Deflecting from the measurements
With that,
for
I'm
the 100th time.
going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. If you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. If you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to today's Discord and G Plus panels. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.